Now there's sound. Okay, gotta hit a button. Okay, so here we are testing this thing, the Yolobox. It's a learning curve. Okay, how's the audio now? Do I have audio? Supposed to have audio now. Okay. I think I'm watching the computer, which has like a delay. Yes, we have sound. Okay, there you go. We got like a 5-second delay with the computer. But I can see, let me see your comments now here. And I can see your comments here and I can highlight them. There's New York Raider fan. This is Mo, and there was no audio. And there you go. And we have also our friend from Sweden. You're still awake. Okay. So the thing is, this is, what do you call it? The Yolobox. It's a mixer, an encoder. And I'm taking it to Spain with the camera. It allows me to do this kind of thing, like throw the intro over there. And at the same time, I'm seeing more people. Wow. We got gaming with, let me see, Garavaglia. And I think we have also Ben Dover. I like that. That's a pretty cool YouTube channel name. We got Royce. Yeah, so since you guys are here, I wanted also to tell, oh, we have Rolf from Australia. Yes, this is a international unannounced live stream. So what I wanted to do also is in the Bellota Con, I wanted to do some like slideshows. Sometimes it's good to take pictures and show you around with the pictures. So I found a way to do it. I'm using my iPhone, but the good thing, well, when I tested it later on, is that I can do this and I can switch to slides, and we can talk about the games that you will be seeing at the Bellota Con. And these are, for example, here is Downfall of Empires. And this is a game by Do It Games. It recently came out from the Kickstarter. And I think I can zoom in here so you can see the nice box art. And this is a game about World War I. And of course, this is already released. And this is the more simple of the two games that were released, because there was another one which is Downfall of the Third Reich. But I can also swipe to the right and you can see another slide. These are all taken from the website of the Bellota Con, and it shows the games that are going to be there being tested. This is called Co-ops. And this is a game that is, I think, designed by some French military personnel. It has a pretty curious map. And of course, this is playtesting, I suppose. But you can see it's like chunks of hexes you can put together. So not very sure how this works. So I'll be taking a look at that. So that's co-ops. Then there's one here that is I'm interested in a lot, which is, because of the topic, 30 Years War. And this is designed by Daniel Hernandez Iniesta, to be published by NAC Wargames. And just one quick thing, is the quality of the sound good? No distortion, everything. I would appreciate if anybody can give me feedback on that. This is a game about the 30 Years War. If you remember, it's very similar to GMT's game. It's point to point, and I think it's a card-driven game. And the one from GMT was a little rudimentary. You couldn't do any reaction, any interceptions like you can do, and I think Here I Stand and the other later games. And the funny thing is, there's going to be two 30 Years War strategic games, one by Daniel and another one by, I think his last name is Gradaye. I forget his first name and I apologize. I'll be covering both. The idea of these live streams that I'm be doing using this particular system is that there's no editing. We'll do them based on the topics. So this is the 30 Years' War by NAC Wargames. And Daniel has another game on the Spanish Way, which is that the route that the Spanish army took during the 30 Years' War. The Infante, I think we have some slides on that here. Here's one that came already out by Dracuideas, and this is 1212 Las Navas de Tolosa. This is a famous battle in Spanish history where practically the Spanish kings, the three Spanish kings, defeated three Moorish, I don't know if they're kings or something like that, and there was the crucial battle to get the Moors out of Spain. There's another game by NAC called La Carga de los Tres Reyes, the charge of the three kings. And yes, Magnum, Sweden will be in the 30 Years' War. Otherwise, do not buy any game that doesn't have Sweden in it, because then there's some problems with history there. Yes. Okay. The sound seems a little low. Okay, let me see if I can increase the microphone there. Okay. I'm boosting it now. Now it should be better. Okay. Thanks, Rolf there. Okay. A bit low. Now I increased it. So let me know if the volume is good now. I think I know a way to leave the settings, like save them, which would be good. So let's continue here with, this is Las Navas de Tolosa. This is a game that is published already. It's a pretty simple game. It's been well received. The Player's Aid did a review on it, which is very interesting. They gave it very good grades. And I think I'll be even picking it up because it's a small game, televised as well, so it's good for the channel. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one from Dracuideas. This is, what's this, To Midnight. This is a game that has been already published in English. I'm trying to read here. What does it say here? 2 minutes to midnight, because this is in Spanish. So this game, you know it already. I'm not going to dwell upon it. This one is on my radar because I saw it last year at the Bellota. And this is about the war in Iraq. I think the liberation of Mosul. And this is called Nineveh. And this is by Nuts Publishing, this French publisher. I interviewed Laurent, who is I think the boss there last year. And this game was in a more crude state in terms of development and artwork. So now you can see here some of the counters. See veterans. And I think this is a block game. So there's going to be that fog of war. You don't know what's there until it's too late and you're engaged. So you see there the arms catch, the veterans, the Daesh leader, militia. And if we continue down here, let me blow up here. You can see human shields. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool artwork. Different from other games that I've seen. Very unique. I like the color scheme also. So those are the units. And see, Mo, on their translations for their rule, yes, I understand. Sometimes when the games are made on in a particular language, they lose a lot in the translations. As to NAC war games, however, I found that they lose very little. They're very good. They have a staff of translators that works on that, but I don't know about other companies. So here we see the 9th Armored Division, and okay, presentation's coming through flawless. That's great. We have great, what do you call it, Wi-Fi in Puerto Rico. I hope the Bellota has too, but this is a test that I wanted to do. So this is the Armored Division. I think this is like a card or something. Don't know exactly how it works. Maybe it's a card that you play. And here is the components. Oh, I see what it is. The blocks apparently belong to units, and the cards contain additional information as to capabilities. That's my best guess there. So you see Mosul there in gray. I'm not going to zoom in too much because this picture is low res and it's going to look really crappy. But and there's something interesting here. You see there's like a track that increases in the width of the color. This must be like a morale track or something. When you know what is going to hit the fan, then it gets wider. That's my best guess there. And I think that's what I remember Laurent told me about it. So now it's looking very nicely, coming out nicely. So this is one. If they're selling it, I'm picking it up. Okay. Oh, I'm hitting the button. Yes. Half can't understand the rules either. That's even a problem in English rules. Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay, so let's go to the next game here. We have, this is, what's the publisher here? I'm trying to see, but this is organized. This is for Friday the 27th in the morning. They're going to show these 3 games, and they're all like empire building games. And I wonder if you can put them all together. You got Western empires, and there's a map for a Western empire. So it covers the Iberian Peninsula. It reaches Egypt, Assyria. So you have there the civilizations, 3 to 9 player. And you got the, the playables are the Iberian Celts or Celts, Carthaginians, Romans, Hellenic, Minoic, Hittites, Assyrians, and Egyptians. And then mega empires, 3 to 18 players. So if you never want to return to your family, I guess you got to play the 18-player version, because that sounds like you got to wait a lot to play your turn. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Maybe it's very interactive. So I'm not being fair. I'm being official. So let's take a look here. Eastern empires. Then it goes to India. So this is empire building. So I guess if you add them all up, it's 18. So it's pretty big. I've never seen a 18-player game like this before. So that will be interesting to take a look at that. That's on Friday the 27th in the morning. There's going to be conferences at the Bellota, something that was not very common before. They're going to have more here. And here we have a game by Victis, Napoleonic, the campaigns of Moro, 1800 in Germany. So it's another Napoleonic game made by the French, not an American, by the French. So they must know something about this. So I don't know anything else about this system, but it says includes rules in English. Merci beaucoup. That's good. Okay, let's go to the next one. And here we have, this is a system which is like, I don't know, like fancy Hollywood kind of game, I don't know. So this is like another conference. Emilio Leon is going to analyze these 3 games, and I recognize the one on the right. That's looks like Herman Luttman's Point du Hoc game. That's what it looks like. Maybe it's not, but it looks like it. So that's another conference. That's going to be on Thursday, Heroes of Stalingrad, and Friday, Heroes Tactical Card Game. So I'm probably wrong. Probably not Herman's game at all. Operation Crusader. Let me see here. Sábado todo el día. All day Saturday. I know this guy. This is Andres. Andres dresses up some days as a British soldier and other days as a French soldier, does a lot of Napoleonics. And I know from photographs, what you're seeing is his war room at his house in Malaga. And I'm going to travel to Malaga this time, but I have I haven't arranged to meet with Andres, but I'm going to Malaga before going to the Bellota. This is his room at Malaga. Look at all he has. He's got an MG-34. Of course, he has the best plane of World War II hanging from his ceiling, and I don't have to say what that is. And of course, I may be a little biased. I think there's some Grumman something there on the right-hand side. I don't know, Hellcat or something like that. There has more planes. It's got swords. It's got Rommel, German helmet. It's got the German grenade, the Luger. And this is a particular conference he's going to give out all day Saturday, Operation Crusader. And this is, what system is this? What system is this? Operation Crusader. You guys probably know. This must be like, what do you call it? Multi-man publishing. That's what it looks like. This must be, I don't know if it's standard combat series or operational, maybe OCS. I really don't know. I'm trying to read here. But it's going to be on that conflict. He has also made huge maps, which if you saw the video last year in the Bellota, he makes, what do you call them, large size neoprene maps, which he lays on the floor. And of course, they look terrific. They take a lot of space, but they look terrific. And after you play with those maps, you don't want to go back to regular maps. He's made maps for great battles of history with also large counters made out of foam. And they're like 1-inch counters. And after you play with those, you don't want to go back to the original ones. MMP Battalion Combat System. Thank you, Rolf. Okay, let's go to the next slide. This is a game by Trafalgar Editions, which I have, but I haven't played yet. This is Norway 1940. So it's like an operational game of the attack on Norway. So this has been out for a while. So you've probably seen it before. This is by Trafalgar Editions. Then we have another conference here by Ismael Lopez Dominguez. He's an historian from the University of Alcalá de Henares. He's going to talk about, I think, the diplomatic underplay that resulted in the First World War. So if you've read The Guns of August, all that conundrum and collection of follies that happen on many of countries at the same time that unchained World War I. He's going to talk about that. So that's really interesting. Saturday, 17 hours. That's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that. And we have here the balkanization of post-Soviet space. This was something Mo would like because this is current events. And this is by Mariano Lopez de Miguel, historian and investigator. He's going to talk about the most recent events that are happening in Ukraine, the Balkans, the Caucasus, and Central Asia. He's an expert on conflicts from the Middle East, and he collaborates in various publications. He's also an avid Next War series fan. So that would be interesting. This is Saturday at 19 hours, 7 o'clock. So then there's the Library of the Battles of the Napoleon by Andres again. And this is Friday in the afternoon. So he's going to bring Napoleonic books. And what system is he talking about here? The Grand Tactical Level, 80 battles of the Napoleonic era at brigade scale. So I'm not familiar with which of those, but those look like the battles published by Kevin Sucker, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be talking about that system, Grand Tactical System. It's another system I want to get into. They have great battles, especially there's a lot of battles in Spain, which are really interesting, part of the Peninsular War. So that's Andres again, and that's what I was talking to you about, he dresses up. Here's like a British soldier, and you see he has the French flag there in the background and a bust of the emperor himself, among other things there. So that's going to be Friday all afternoon. Then Andres again, Thursday the afternoon, he's going to talk about, this is something that I'm really interested in. This is an integrated battle system of GMT's Great Battles of History. You've heard that Great Battles of History, simple Great Battles of History is one system. You have the original. So this is one that integrates the best of both. It's like in between. And I know he explained it to me. It's more streamlined and plays faster and supposed to be even more realistic. So it has all those goals. And I want to see how's he coming up with it. Of course, it's about rules of how to play Great Battles of History. So that's something I'm looking forward to. One thing I don't like about Great Battles of History is all those cohesion markers. It's like accounting in the middle of a battle. You know, everybody's has a sign on their top of their head, looks like a Civil War protest, like a civil rights protest instead of a battlefield. I like Herman Luttman's way of simulating cohesion, which is very clean. So if there's anything that can be done there, that would be very exciting. But this is, of course, the Great Battles of History. And what you're seeing there is one of those huge maps with the huge pieces there. And that's what he uses to play it. So here we have Poland 39. And we have also Groucho. Welcome to this test. Poland 39, I think this hasn't been released. It's in progress by Trafalgar Editions. So this is the campaign by excellence for masochists who want to play Poland, and I'm one of them. So looking forward to taking a look at this. This appears to be a pretty simple system, but I don't know much about the game. This is at core level. 2 to 3 players, 90 to 120 minutes to play. You got divisions, brigades, and battalions, some units. Easy difficulty level. So this is an entry-level game. And then we have another work in progress, Africa Corps 1941. And this one, the map it's like an area map. And that's interesting. Never seen an Africa Corps game, North Africa game area map. And so this difficulty is easy also. So it's another entry level. Apparently looks like in the same vein that the Poland game. Then there's this game, Trafalgar Editions, which is one of the ones I'm most interested in. It's about the uprising in Madrid on the 2nd of May, 1808, when the French people got sick of Joseph I, that is the brother of Napoleon. And they got sick of him and they deposed him. And then that's why eventually Napoleon had to invade himself and try to restore to the French. Okay, so let me see here. This is a game that is an area game. See if we can zoom in. The photo's pretty good. So I don't know if this is playtest material or not, but this is one that I would be definitely interested in picking up, and I think it will make a nice video. This is Trafalgar Editions. And we have Austerlitz. That's a game that was published, I think like a year or two ago. This is a game, the system that simulates miniatures, but with counters. I'm not a big fan of these systems. I mean, if I'm going to play miniatures, I play miniatures. But they have games like these, Austerlitz 1805. And Panzer Camp, which came out last year. It's a miniatures system for tanks, which is very streamlined and also entry level, fast playing. It's a favorite at the Bellota. They play a lot in battles with 20 tanks against 20 tanks, and they get destroyed pretty quickly. So that's Trafalgar Editions. They have Tactical Commander, which is a system they're developing at battalion level. Don't know much about it. And this is the game that Daniel Hernandez Iniesta has designed, which will be given to each of the attendees at the Bellota. This is El Camino Español, the Spanish way. This is the path that the Spanish army with the what was his name? El Infante, forget his name. He was the commander, took during the 30 Years' War. So this is in Lombardy. And it's Niels Johansson is the graphic artist, and I love everything that he does. He has a unique style, very elegant. And here you see, I think, the map. So you have the destination is Flanders, and you start here in Lombardy. So the Spanish army has to go through that path there. And so I like the detail of the map. Seems like a pretty simple game, but very elegant. And of course, the topic is 30 Years' War, which is always interesting. And here you have Downfall of the Third Reich. I did a video on this game. I received both games recently because I supported the Kickstarter. I got also the big neoprene maps. This is a system which is very straightforward, very playable, but it is deceptive. I mean, you have to play well. There's a lot of strategic options. It reminds me of the philosophy of Karl Paradis. He believes that less is more. So you see less units, not a lot of stacking, the same thing here, but you have a lot of options. And the game plays pretty fast. And it's something that I've always seen people enjoying this game. Has it happened to you? You go to conventions and you see one of these famous games being played, but nobody's like enjoying themselves. I see a lot of people enjoying these two games. So they play pretty fast. You have a lot of decisions and something different, which is what attracted me to the system. And this is designed by Victor Català. And this is, of course, Downfall of Empires, which deals with World War I. It's simpler than the Third Reich game, but it's basically the same system. You play the whole war. Then we have a game by David Gómez Reyoso, and David Gómez Reyoso designed one of my favorite CDGs of all time, which is Crusade and Revolution. I have the original Crusade and Revolution when it came out, the deluxe, and in between, David sent me the file, so I printed a deluxe for myself with wooden pieces. Something I'll do a video on that someday. So I have my own deluxe version before Compass came with theirs. But this is an impossible war. This is about the First Carlist War. This is a war that's, I don't think you've heard about too much in the, let me see what I did here. Okay, haven't heard too much about this war. This was the struggle to restore the monarchy in Spain in 1834. And you have there, let me see if I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in here on the picture. There you go. You see those soldiers with the red berets? Those are the requetés from Pamplona. Pamplona is a region close to Bilbao. They're very Catholic and they're very monarchical. These are the guys that love the king and that's some really nice painting there. So this is a game about that war, 4-year war. The funny thing is, again, like in the 30 Years' War, there's going to be 2 games on the Carlist War on display. This one by David Gomez Reyoso, which is going to be published by Bellica 3rd Generation, which you see the symbol down there in yellow. And then there's going to be another game called The King in the North, which is designed by, what's his name? Rivero, the guy that designed Granada from Compass, Rivero. He designed also The King in the North. So Granada is like it's like Sekigahara, but applied to Granada, to the expulsion or the battle against the Moors. And we're going to have 2 Carlist War games. So that's interesting. And when you see the map here, it's point to point, and it reminds me of Crusade and Revolution, because it has a shaded area that gives you the starting positions, and then you see how the war progresses, and you compare it to that shaded area. So it's a point-to-point map, and I think it's a card-driven game also. Then we have Red Strike by VUCA Simulation, and VUCA is just pouring out a lot of games and high quality. And this one is a work in progress. This is based very closely on Mark Herman's Gulf Aegean strike game system. So this is late 80s, and there's a plane that I don't know which one it is. Mo probably knows. Jose Antonio Rivero is the designer. Thanks, Mo, for the name, the complete name. Appreciate it. And we have Elfo de la Luz from Costa Rica. Oh boy, we have from Australia to Costa Rica. A lot of people. Thanks, Elfo. Thanks for tuning in. And we have Chip Roche, An Impossible War. It's point-to-point map. And I know that the other game, that the one we haven't seen so far, is like a block game, but it's a different kind of block game. It's not the typical. Let me see, get back to my phone here. So, just a second. And so this is Red Strike. Don't know much more about the game, VUCA Simulations, but Patrick Gebhardt is going to be there. And we'll take a look at it. So next game is Vagram 1809, work in progress by VUCA. I didn't know anything about this until I saw this here. This is the first in a series that places an emphasis on command at the individual formation level. And formations here are corps. And it's a formation command system that requires both players to make, it says, difficult battle decisions. I'm reading the blurb. It's not that I know about the game off the top of my head, but you see that it uses formation displays which retain information about cohesion. And this affects morale. So this is something to look at because it's a new Napoleonic operational system. It's always interesting. There you see the map, and that looks point to point to me. I don't know. No, those are hexes, actually. Those are hexes. Those are hexes. And you have the displays on the right where you keep track of information. So that's coming up by VUCA. Who's the designer here? Jeff Noble. Okay, Jeff Noble designed Red Verse Reverse. So he's going to be, if he's there, going to be there, that would be great. Then we have Task Force. And this one's just published. And I didn't pull the trigger on this one, and I should have, even though I don't think it's solitaire friendly, but the level of detail is great, but not a ton of pages of rules. So it seems that it recreates all these carrier battles, but also surface actions with a pretty good amount of detail, but I think it's 16 or 20 pages of rules, something like that. So that's interesting. And you have the typical battles there, Coral Sea, Java Sea, and Java Sea is a surface engagement. You got Pearl Harbor. You got the sinking of the Prince of Wales and the Repulse. It's the Solomons, the Eastern Solomons. And it says that it goes progressively in difficulty. So it has this, I suppose, like program instruction where you go from simpler scenarios to more complex, which is always appreciated. Help you break in to the game. So this looks very, very interesting. And I will definitely be taking a look at it. And we've got Robert Moffat. Nice to see you, Robert. Okay. And the task force maps are gorgeous. Yes, I've seen the components in pictures and they look terrific. That's right. Okay, so we have Crossing the Line. This is a game already published by VUCA. I think it was the first VUCA game, and it received good reviews. So that's one that will be there. Donnerschlack, that everybody but Mo had received, but now Mo has one because he won it in the sweepstakes here at the bomb runs. So it's a very interesting game, trying to liberate the trapped Sixth Army. Then we have the Chase of the Bismarck, which is relatively new. This is this cat and mouse game, which I don't think you can play solitaire because you have screens between both players. But everybody who has made videos on it and reviewed it, I think agrees that is a very great design, a very good design. And it was co-designed by Jack Green, I believe. There he is. And I met Jack Green at the Siege of Vicksburg this year. I talked about the game, and he speaks very highly about VUCA and Patrick Gebhardt. It's so another amazing game. And when you see VUCA's lineup, they do games on different things. It's not the same thing. You got naval, you got Pacific naval, you got tank battles, hex and counter. So, and you got their first World War game, which looks amazing also, the one in the Western Front. So here we have Badajoz 1936. This is a game under development by NAC Wargames. And this is designed by, if I can remember, I interviewed him. This is a game which is interesting because there's a lot of, that the victory conditions are variable. You have to capture, as the nationalist, historically the nationalists advanced through this area very easily. So to make the game interesting, they have to capture certain landmarks at certain times. Otherwise, they don't get the same amount of victory points. They're worth more victory points if you capture them early. So it makes for an interesting fighting withdrawal by the Republicans, which of course, being the Republicans, have their set of problems trying to get along with each other, because you have all kinds of political denominations in there, and that's reflected in the game too. Some units, a lot of the units are face down. You don't know how good they are, your own units, until they are flipped face up. So as the Republican player, you're faced with the usual problems that they had in trying to be a cohesive force, a problem that the nationalists seldom had. And it uses a chit pool system. So this was one that I'm interested in, see how this game has progress. Jesus, I remember, is the designer, but I forgot his last name. Then we have Co-ops by Nuts Publishing, which we saw before. And here we have El Mayor Desafío de Roma, Rome's Greatest Challenge, a prototype in development by NAC. This is a operational game with a card-driven engine, 2 to 4 players. One is Trajan, the Optimus Princeps, which is directing the Roman troops and allied troops. Another player will be Decebalo. I don't know. It's a Dacian king commanding the Dacian alliance. There's also Sarmatians and I don't know what Budos are. So there's like a whole coalition against the Romans. And then there's the Greek cities of Tyrus and Olbia and Voldos. I know nothing about this, but sounds interesting. It's a multiplayer, card-driven game in the Roman times. Not a lot of those games around. And here you see the legions. You have a commander. The photo is a little pixelated. Have the commander and the units. So you see, this is like an order of battle for the Roman legions. So that's in development. Asturias 3637. This is a game designed by Pedro Iñaki Martinez. He designed the War of the Triple Alliance, and I met Pedro Iñaki 2 bellotas ago, and this was a prototype then, and now it's very advanced. This is a point-to-point game. I think it's card-driven also, and it has the war in Asturias. Asturias is in the north of Spain, you see there. Oviedo is the principal city, and historically, after the Basque, in the north, the Republicans were isolated. You had the Basques and the Asturianos and the Santanderinos, all fighting against the nationalists, and they got surrounded, and then Franco decided, well, let's get rid of that northern pocket first. So it took them like a year and a half to get rid of it. And there was intense fighting there. And this is the campaign against Asturias. And there's a lot of great histories. There's where some, the Asturian miners are famous for the Republic. They were experts with TNT. So you see there's a lot of mountainous terrain. And after the mountainous terrain, well, you have the coast with the principal cities there. You have Oviedo, which is the big city, big round space in the middle. And then the one on the coast, I think, is Gijón, which is the second principal city in Asturias there. So this is a game that I will be picking up one way or another when it comes out. Pedro Iñaki Martinez. And then we have one which has been very solicited. I think Justigard wanted a report on this one, and a lot of people are looking at this one. This is 1917, 1918, Italia, A Farewell to Arms. This is by Nuts Publishing. So you have the Italian campaign in World War I there, hex and counter game, but with cards. And I don't think it's a card-driven game. I think there are events. I may be wrong, maybe a card-driven game, but here's the cards to the right. So this has units that are mostly divisions. Let me see if there's any information as to specific information. It uses a system using Somme 1918, operational, and the same system as Marne 1918 Hexasim, and this time to the Italian front. So that's all it says there. So we'll be taking a look at this game. Sounds interesting. So next is also from Nuts. This was one that's right up my alley. Stalingrad Roads. And this is not for the city of Stalingrad, but the campaign leading to the city of Stalingrad. It's a single-sided map. You have 2 sheets of counters and play rates and dice. So pretty standard hex and counter game of, I think it's low complexity. And this is for 2 players. Covers the campaign. The winter campaign from 42 to 43. So it starts with Uranus. Oh, so it starts when the Germans are screwed. And they get trapped. So this is in the same vein, I guess, that Donnerschlack. And it's part of, it uses a system, the Roads system. There's I think Hexasim did some systems using the Roads system. I forget the name of the games right now. Victory Roads, there it is, and Liberty Roads. Okay, so it's that same system. So that's a good system. It's been well received. So next one here is Port Arthur, Nuts Publishing. See, this is one of those rare games. It looks rare. Look at the map there. You have some wood. You have some meeples, so don't run away. Give it a chance. It's a strategy game for 2 players, 30 to 45 minutes, and the Japanese have a central position, but they have a small and powerful fleet, or you can play the Russians, and you can prevent enemy landings. And what else you have here? 6 turns, so this looks like a low complexity game. 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, 6 turns. So nice, maybe it's a nice filler game. Looks nice. Port Arthur, interesting topic. Then you have Nineveh here, again. And this is by Nuts Publishing. And this is the campaign to liberate the western area of Mosul from the Daesh forces. This is in 2017. So, see here, the cards and the blocks. So it's a block game and a card game also. A lot of uncertainty there. And then we have, from NAC Wargames, Fiebre Imperial, Imperial Fever. This is designed by Carlos Marquez, who's the designer of The Other Side of the Hill, Al Otro Lado de la Colina, which is one of the games that I'm most interested in because it's the German High Command of World War II, the States of Siege series on steroids, like with a lot of complexity and layers added on. Multiplayer, cooperative, but also cutthroat. So it has everything. But this one is about the 19th century up to World War I colonial powers in Africa, Asia, and Oceania. I don't know how you say that in English. That's leading up to the First World War. So there's not more information there, but you see the maps are very peculiar there with the area. So we'll be taking a look at that. And here is The Other Side of the Hill. You're part of the high command of the German army, up to 4 players, and they compete for the influence and power as you conduct the strategy for the German side during the war. So at the beginning, the Germans are expanding from their central position, which is Berlin, and then later it's going to contract. And of course, you all have the goal of making sure that Germany doesn't lose the war, or if it loses, it doesn't lose as bad as it did. So you have that common goal, but also to win, you have to accommodate your generals to key positions. So you'll have cards for all the major generals and marshals of the German army here, and they're rated for many circumstances. So in one game you may have Rommel, in another game you might have Guderian or Manstein, and you're trying to accommodate these people. And sometimes the best people won't be suited for the job because they got the position because of undue influence. Where have you heard that happen before? Like in the American Civil War, it happens all the time. There's other considerations dictate who gets the position, right? Not the best man. So this happens here. You're trying to position your guys to score the more points while saving Germany at the same time. This is just fascinating, and I hope I can interview Carlos Marquez, and this is almost ready for publishing. So definitely I'll be picking this one up. And then we have from Draco Ideas, Desperate Battles, Venid cuando queráis, Come when you want, Castelnuovo 1539. So this is the last resistance of a Spanish garrison in the town of Castelnuovo. And This is against the Turks, I think, in 1539. And it looks like a block game. So this is interesting too. This is another one of those topics. And you see it's like a siege game. It's cards and blocks. You have there Castelnuovo. So I'll be interviewing Luis Hernandez. He's the boss there at Dracoideas, and hopefully we'll bring a nice video about this game. So obviously I don't know much about the period here. Then you have Scope U-Boot. That's a game that's been published, I think by, yes, by Dracoideas, but is it a Spanish design? I think so. Yes, the designer is Juan Nacher. So this is a good filler game, and it's cat and mouse trying to find out where the other player has the submarine is hidden. They have another Scope Stalingrad game, which is trying to take out the other guy's snipers. So this is the second in the Scope series, designed by Juan Nacher, published by Dracoideas. And then we have Tetrarchia, also published by Dracoideas, came out I think last year. This is, I think, is Rome against barbarians and how do you call it, civil wars. You have to deal with those. This is 3rd century after Christ. So you're dealing with enemies from within and from out of the empire. And this is for 1 to 4 players. So it's a fast-playing game also. And you see there the map. Really a nice little game there. Then you have from Dracoideas, and we got E4 Airmen. Great to see you, E4. So Dracoideas has this game, Fury in Midway, which is 2-player midway game. There you see the screens there, so I don't think it's solitaire friendly, but what midway game is solitaire friendly? I don't know of any. So here we see this game is designed by, let me see, I think it's a Japanese designer, Yasushi Nakaguro. 1 to 2 players. So I stand corrected. There's a solitaire version. So in this game, the Japanese fleet has the objective to take control of Midway, of course, and the Americans will try to prevent it. And Midway, always such a classic battle. It's really hard not to like games about Midway, because it gives, both players have opportunities to attack and defend us. Then we have Onus Trianos. This is a system published by Dracoideas, which uses cards. The cards are the formations, are units, ancients. It uses miniature rules, but with cards. It's a very innovative system. I'm trying to zoom in here to see if you can look at the map. You have cards, and you have your stick where you measure. So you use miniature rules, and you roll dice. I think are special custom dice. And the cards are really nice. So it's oh, what happened here? Let me get back to the photograph. Let's see. Wait a second. Okay, for some reason I went out of the photographs. Let me get back on track here. Now, where is it? For some reason I hit the wrong button. Okay, we're at Midway. We're here. Okay. Sorry about that. And that's the Midway game. Onus Trianos, here we are. So the miniatures are reflected in the cards. And we have from Dracoideas Salah Hadin, which is published originally by Chacos, French publisher. So they also carry that game. They also carry 1815. This is a card game about the Battle of Waterloo, recently published with beautiful graphics. But this is not an original Draco design. So you've probably seen this game before. And we have 300. This is a game they published about 2 years ago. Designed also by Yasushi Nakaguro. About the, I think it's a, this is the battle, the battles between the Greeks and the Persians, 490. So this is a mini game, very simple, basic game, but it's been well received also. And then you have 2 Minutes to Midnight, Navas de Tolosa, which we saw already. We saw this one too. And here is the shirt, official shirt for the Bellota Con. And I think that's all I have for now. Let me see. Yeah, that's all I have in terms of games. I wanted to show you these slides to test them. This is really my iPhone, and I'm just scrolling around, but I think it works fine. So that is the end of this test stream, and I've been at it for a while here. I'm trying to see how I'm 57 minutes. My battery went from 69 to 60, the battery for the whole system, which is really good. So I'm very happy with that. I'm happy with the sound, and I'm very grateful that you guys stuck around. And I'll leave you with the intro for the Bellota Con, which is a mambo there. And appreciate you guys tuning in. Okay, so I'll be doing more videos. Eventually I'm going to Spain 2 days from now, but I won't be at Badajoz until the 26th, but I may do some videos from other points in Spain using this. As long as there's Wi-Fi, we can use this system. So I'm very happy with it. So let me return here. No, okay, I got it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Okay, it was a pleasure. Thanks. Take care.